Okay, hi everyone, welcome back, and in this update we are going to check out VeChain's price chart, and unfortunately what we talked about in the previous update is basically playing out at the moment. Well, if you remember, the last time that we talked about VeChain, we were actually around the highs, and the idea was that it seems like we are having a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave starting from this point, which can definitely be an optimistic sign. However, you need to keep that in mind that even according to the most bullish case, after a 5 wave up, one way or the other, we are going to have a move on the downside. And this was the exact reason for why we said around here that in VeChain, count on a decent move on the downside. But the move itself, we specifically said, is not really tradable. Honestly, it is kind of predictable. What really matters is the shape of that move, and we need to be able to find a correction structure. So, question is, what is going on at the moment? And first things first, we need to start analyzing this move starting from here to about this height. And I think we can actually argue this is, from here an ABC up to about this point, followed by probably, yes, maybe an ABC flat down, and this can be yet another ABC on the upside, which I'm going to argue kind of got confirmed the moment that in this recent phase down in VeChain we took this important low. And well, this means essentially off of the lows down here about 2.37 cents, you are having a WXY in form of a double zigzag, let's say generally a correction structure. So there is not going to be any argument there, meaning what? Probably in VeChain we are actually headed lower in order to take this important low down here. Do we have some more reasons to count on this structure to play out? In my view, yes, and I want to talk to you about the possibility of having on a higher degree an ABC zigzag, which in terms of the subwaves, we must have 5 down into a correction into wave B. We can have an ABC, maybe a WXYZ, possibly even a triangle. Honestly, it's not really that important. And then another 5 down into our ceiling. Now let's go on the live chart and see what is happening. And pay attention, this is actually kind of an optimistic scenario. I'm going to tell you in a bit why. In my view, in VeChain, we are having from the highest side in here, wave 1, correction for 2, decent move down into wave 3, correction for 4, probably I'm gonna say a triangular structure actually, and another move on the downside into wave 5. So what do you have? Let's just zoom out a bit more. Okay, this is 5 down, this is correction up, and well, this is actually a bit of a bearish setup, suggesting one way or the other we are going to have most likely a 1, 2 strong move down into wave 3, correction for 4, another move on the downside into wave 5. At that point, we can have two different counts in VeChain. If you want to be optimistic, okay, fair enough, you can think about the possibility of having an ABC zigzag. And here is a very important point, please pay attention. What really matters is this: what is going to happen after we complete this 5 wave down? Are we going to get, for example, from these areas a very strong bounce back, meaning a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, generally a very strong move without a lot of overlapping of the waves in order to take this high or not, about, let's say, 2.58 cents. Why is this such an optimistic sign? Because number one, if you want to be bullish on any chart, you need to be able to find off of its recent lowest low a 5 wave up. And if we get something like this, okay, great. Number two, if we do end up in this phase taking this important high, at that point, finding a 5 wave in this whole move down is going to be very, very challenging, which will make us say, you know what, according to our primary case, this is indeed an ABC zigzag. Basically, taking this high is going to be the bullish confirmation that we actually envision. On the other hand, what you do not want to see is actually a very slow move, a consolidation pattern, followed by yet another move on the downside. Why? Because at that point, we shouldn't really be considering having an ABC as our primary case, and we should say this is on a higher degree, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and maybe, I don't know, it's going to be into a 1, correction for 2, followed by a decent move down into wave 3, 4, 5. This is one likely count. The other scenario suggests, for example, okay, this can be 5 down, this time into an A-leg, correction for wave B, and we are again going to have, unfortunately, another move on the downside into our C-leg. So what is it that I'm trying to tell you? Look, in VeChain, it's really soon to talk about those kinds of bearish scenarios. For now, let's just focus on what is going to happen in the next, let's say, week or two, because I do think we are going to continue this move on the downside. And then let's pay attention to the next very, very important move. also, here is sort of kind of a bearish confirmation if you want to be pessimistic in VeChain. You see, I think we're going to get a move down. So far, fair enough. But in this move, pay attention to this unbelievably important slow down here about 2.28 cents. Because if we take it, that's actually going to be a bit of a bearish sign, suggesting maybe on a higher degree, we are having 5 up, correction down, another 5 wave on the upside. Well, these might be the sub waves for an ABC zigzag, indicating that from this point in VeChain, our move down is going to probably continue for another, let's say 7 to 8% in order to also take the lows down here about 2.1 cents. So in VeChain, our move down is going to continue. Again, let's just have a quick conclusion. In that move, you need to pay attention to 2 things. Number 1, the shape of this thing. And if it's going to be a 5 wave, followed by that, we get a correction and then another 5 wave on the downside, that's a really bad sign. Number 2, please pay attention in the short term to this important slow. And let's hope, if you want to be optimistic, that we are not going to take the lows. And for example, around these areas, we are going to have a very strong bounce, because that can actually be a very, very bullish sign. And I hope I explained everything well and you understood what is going on in VeChain. And until the next update, I hope you have a wonderful time. Goodbye.